Hey guys, it's Jackie the Math Guru. Please subscribe to my channel. So today we're going to talk about the literal equation. So you will see some of these in your test. Don't get scared. I know we have a lot of letters, but it's okay. For the first thing that you want to do is, if you have a piece of paper, highlight what you are asking to solve for. For instance, on example number 1, we have the midpoint. We're going to solve m equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, and we are solving for y2. So since I don't have a highlighter, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to change the color on it. I'll put it in red. That's what we are trying to solve for. That means that we have to move everything that it's not red to the other side. So the first thing that you're going to do is draw the line across the equal sign. Then you're going to identify what side is the letter that you're trying to isolate. That you're trying to leave it by itself. It's on the right hand side in this case. So we're going to get rid of everything. The first thing that we have to get rid of is whatever is single. It's not with the y2. If you see, we have the x2 minus x1 at the bottom. That's going to be together, so I'm going to put it in parentheses just so you can see it. We're going to get rid of that. We're going to send it to the other side. We have a fraction. A fraction originally means division. Opposite of division is going to be multiplication. So we're going to multiply both sides by our denominator, the bottom letters in this case. So we're going to say times x2 minus x1 on this side times x2 minus x1 on the other side. These are going to cancel out, and you are left with y2 minus y1 is equal to these. Since it's multiplication, I'm just going to put them together. I'm going to say m x2 minus x1. Or you can say x1, x2 in parentheses, and then the m after. It doesn't matter, it's still the same thing. From here, we're almost done. We just want to leave the y2 by itself. That means we have to get rid of the minus y1. The way we're going to move this over to the other side, we do the opposite. Since it's a minus, we're going to put a plus y1. Since we did this on this side, we have to do it on the other side. I'm just going to put it next to it. I don't want to put it under it because it's not the same letter. They're not like terms, so you might get confused if you do that. Cross these out. You bring down your y2, which is what we're trying to solve for. We already have it by itself. Y2 equals, and then you can say y1 plus m x2 minus x1. This is your correct answer, or you might see it as m x2 minus x1 plus y1 is equal to y2. Both of them are correct. It doesn't necessarily have to be that this is the first one or this. It doesn't matter. Both of them are correct. Just look at your answers and see which one it is. For number 2, example number 2, we have a different formula. In this case, we have a equals s, and then inside the parentheses 1 minus 2 dn. We're trying to solve for n. So the same thing that we're going to do that we did in example 1, we're going to be doing over here. We're going to highlight the letter that they're asking us to solve, which is the n. So we're going to draw the line, cross the equal sign. In this case, the letter, we have it on the right-hand side, the one we're trying to solve for. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to distribute the s, whatever we have on the outside of the parentheses, to everything that we have inside of the parentheses. So this becomes 1 times s is 1s, but since that 1 is an invisible one, we could just leave it as an s. S times dn is just minus s dn. The other side is going to come down. So from here, we still have the letter on the right-hand side, the one that we're trying to solve for. So we're going to get rid of the one that doesn't have the n with it, which is the s. The s is a positive s, so I'm making a negative s in order to send it to the other side. So negative s. The same thing, I'm not going to put it underneath the a because it's a different letter. Those are not alike. S and the s are going to cancel down out. This comes down, so we got negative sd n equals negative s plus a. Negative s plus a. Or a minus s. Either way, they're both correct. We're almost done. We have to get rid of the negative sd so we can leave the n by itself. Right here, this means multiplication. The reason why it's multiplication is because we don't have no operation in between. So right here, we're multiplying all these out. Opposite of multiplication is division. When we divide in this case, we can send everything over to the other side. So it's going to be negative sd. Negative cancels the negative, the s cancels the s, and the d will cancel the d. So we got negative sd. Whatever you do on one side, you have to do it on the other, so it could be equal. We bring down our n equals negative s plus a over negative sd. But this negative, we have to distribute to everything. What that means is, if you have a negative at the bottom, just change the signs of all of them. So negative divided by negative will be a positive, so the s becomes a positive. Negative divided by positive is going to become a negative, so it's negative over, and then negative divided by negative is a positive sd. What you're doing basically just changes the signs from all of them. Is equal to n. Both of them are correct, so you might see with the negative at the bottom. If you don't, that means that they just changed the signs for all of them. And for example number 3, now example number 3 is a little bit different than these, just because they're asking us to solve for pi. So we have a equals 2 pi r squared plus 2 pi rh. The reason why I say it's a little bit different is because for these, for example 1 and 2, we just had it once in here. For example number 3, we have pi twice. So how are we going to solve for this one? So the first thing that you're going to do is highlight your pi. So we already did. We're going to draw the line across the equal sign. The letter in this case, in this case is a pi. The pi in this case that we're trying to solve for is on the right-hand side. So that means we want to keep it there. Before we even start moving things out, the first thing that you have to do in this case is we're going to have to factor it out. Whenever you have whatever term they're asking us to solve for twice, in your equation, what you're going to do is factor it out. And the rest is going to stay in parentheses. So the way you factor it out, you just take it out. Literally, just put it on the side. Inside of the parentheses, you're going to be left with whatever you didn't take out. So we took out the pi, we're left with the 2 and the r squared. So it's going to be 2r squared. For this one, the same thing. We're left with the 2, with the r, and with the h. So plus 2rh. We already factored it out. On the left-hand side, we're just going to drop down the a. So equals a. From here, whenever we have parentheses, this means multiplication. Opposite of multiplication is going to be division. So we're just going to divide. We're going to divide both sides by whatever we have inside of the parentheses. So 2r squared plus 2rh. Same thing on this side. 2r squared plus 2rh. All of that's going to cancel out, and you're left with the pi by itself. Pi equals a over 2r squared plus 2rh. That will be your final answer.